Okay, so let's jump right in. Imagine this problem. You need to convince the entire world to come visit your country, right after a period of protests and, some unrest. How on earth do you pull that off? Well, today we're going to deconstruct Nepal's brilliant answer to that exact challenge. It is an absolute masterclass in turning fear into fascination.
Right out of the gate, the message just dives in and addresses the elephant in the room. They don't try to hide from the bad press. Nope, they tackle the audience's biggest concern head on. And that's a classic and really smart trust-building move. You clear the air first so people are actually willing to listen to what you have to say next. So this message is really doing two things at once, right? It's not just a simple invitation. It's this carefully crafted piece of reassurance, and its whole job is to transform this perception of instability into one of safety and, a warm welcome.
So how do they actually handle the whole unrest thing? Well, the strategy isn't to pretend it never happened. Instead, they frame it as a chapter that is now closed. It's presented as a problem that has already found its solution, in peace. The language they use here is so specific. By calling it a youth movement for change and reform, the unrest is suddenly given this kind of noble purpose. But, and this is crucial, it also gives it a defined endpoint. It suggests a process that's already over and done with, not some unpredictable conflict that's still going on. And this creates such a simple, powerful narrative. You've got then versus now. The past was about protests. The present is all about peace. The contrast is just so easy to understand and incredibly reassuring. It shows this clear, definite switch over to stability. Of course, to make that claim of normalcy stick, they've got to show some proof. But look at the strategy here. It's a mix of on-the-ground stuff like, hey, tourist sites are buzzing, with official endorsements from foreign embassies and tourism boards. You see that third-party validation? That is absolutely key to building trust. So once those safety concerns have been put to bed, the message does a pivot. It goes from reassurance to attraction. And where does it start? With the country's most famous asset, of course, the world-renowned Himalayas. The appeal kicks off with the one icon everybody knows, Mount Everest. But then it immediately broadens the scope, listing all these other spectacular peaks. This is so smart because it grabs everyone from the really serious mountaineer to the casual tourist who just wants to see those giants of the earth. But the pitch doesn't just stop at the mountains. Oh no. The next move is to show off Nepal's incredible diversity, layering in culture and adventure to appeal to the widest audience possible. And here we go again with that third-party validation, this time from a global powerhouse. Highlighting UNESCO World Heritage Sites, that's like an instant stamp of quality. It tells you these cultural treasures aren't just important to locals, they are globally significant. But it's not just about ancient history. The message really brings the culture to life by pointing out things you can experience right now, like the living goddess Kumari and these amazing, vibrant festivals. This takes it beyond just static, old sites to a dynamic, living, breathing cultural immersion. And just when you think you've got Nepal all figured out, the message pivots hard. By listing all these high-octane activities like paragliding and bungee jumping, it's making a direct appeal to the adrenaline junkies out there, making sure it doesn't lose that huge adventure travel market. And they are still not done. They add in rare wildlife, like one-horned rhinos and Bengal tigers. I mean, just think about the ground they've covered here. In just a few points, they've targeted hikers, spiritual seekers, history buffs, thrill seekers, and wildlife lovers. It is a totally comprehensive pitch with something for pretty much everyone. So this brings us to what I think is the emotional heart of this whole pitch. This is where the message shifts from what you can get from a trip to Nepal to what your visit can actually give back. Guests are like gods. Wow. I mean, that's not just some marketing slogan, right? It's a deeply ingrained cultural value. It promises this welcome that goes way beyond just good service. It makes the invitation feel personal and profound and just deeply, deeply sincere. And this is the final, crucial turn in the argument. A trip is no longer just a personal holiday, it's reframed as an act of support, a way you can contribute to a country's recovery. This gives a potential tourist a really powerful, almost altruistic reason to go ahead and book that flight. And that kind of abstract idea of support is made really concrete and personal. By listing out exactly who benefits, families, guides, small businesses, the message connects a traveler's spending to a tangible, positive impact on the lives of real people. So after this whole persuasive journey, from tackling fear head-on to making this emotional appeal, we're left with a pretty powerful idea. It suggests that travel isn't just about consumption. It can actually be a form of participation in a nation's story of resilience. And for any of us who travel, well, that's a thought that's definitely worth considering.